has been a few updates on the Timothy Haslett case coming out of Missouri. I really can't say it any more than these news clips that I put together for you. There's also been released the statement from the police. I will be putting that in the very next video, and I will read that one out aloud to you. However, this is the newest news clips from this case, as well as he has pleaded not guilty, if you can believe that. Also, I was kind of shocked to learn, and I believe you will be as well, that he did have full custody of his son that was living with him, 8 years old, and his ex-wife was literally having to pay him $400 a month in child support. Can you imagine that? Hey, here is the clips I have together for you, and be watching for the police statement coming up in the very next video.
Who is Timothy Haslett? What we know about suspect in Missouri kidnapping case. Timothy M. Haslett, a 39-year-old Excelsior Springs man. Law enforcement, including crime scene investigators, spent 3 days gathering potential evidence at the house as they investigate the possibility he may have committed other crimes, though authorities have remained tight-lipped about the details. He lived in Kansas City Metro since around 2010. Haslett has lived in the home in Excelsior Springs since at least 2017. He previously resided in Kansas City in 2010 and then Independence until around 2015, but originally hails from Marion County in southern Illinois. He attended school in Patoka, Illinois and resided in nearby Vernon until around 2008. He appears to have no close family residing in the Kansas City area, aside from a young son, roughly 8 years old. He is divorced. Public records show Haslett married in 2013 in Independence. He filed for divorce 2 years later, when his son was roughly 12 months old. In a subsequent custody case, he maintained joint legal custody of the child, and became the primary custodial parent. After petitioning the court, the boy primarily resided with him at the house in the 300 block of Old Orchard Avenue, along with a dog. That arrangement meant Haslett was not responsible for paying child support, but his ex-wife had to pay $400 in child support each month, since the boy only lived with her every other weekend and one evening each week. He was a railroad worker. Haslett spent years working as a Union Railroad employee. His public Facebook profile lists him most recently as an employee of M&H Contractors, a Kansas City-based subcontractor that does rail maintenance work, though the company says he has not been employed there since June 2020. It was unclear where his place of employment was at the time of his arrest on Friday. In a court ruling during his arraignment, Haslett was determined to be indigent and unable to provide the necessary funding for his own defense, and the Missouri Public Defender's Office was ordered to represent him. He does not have a serious criminal record. Courts in Missouri, Kansas and Illinois show no history of Haslett having been charged with anything above a traffic infraction. Haslett does have at least 21 moving violations across Missouri and Illinois, court records show. At the time of his arrest, Haslett was wanted on warrants in Clay and Ray counties for failure to appear in court. During his initial court appearance on rape, kidnapping and assault charges Tuesday, Haslett pleaded guilty to the Clay traffic violation.
She escaped his home after being held captive there since September. Pleaded guilty in a separate case for a careless driving charge involving an accident. Previously filed citations show that he is accused of driving into the rear of a moving vehicle on 3 separate occasions in July, August, and December of last year. At the time of his arrest, Haslett Jr. had 3 active warrants for failure to appear in Clay County, Cooper County, and Liberty, Missouri.
To the court records filed today, they detailed the days-long investigation that began after the woman ran and knocked on neighbors' doors for help around 7:47 Friday, October 7th. She told investigators that a man named Timothy picked her up in Prospect in Kansas City in September and held her hostage inside of his home.
According to court documents, first responders had to remove a padlock from a metal collar around the 22-year-old woman's neck because it was restricting her breathing. The woman told police a man named Timothy kept her in a small room in the basement that he had built and assaulted and raped her on multiple occasions. Police observed injuries on her body. She told investigators she could show them where she was held hostage. As the ambulance she was inside drove by, investigators say she pointed to the home where Haslett Jr. lived, off Old Orchard Avenue in Excelsior Springs. She ran for help just down the street on Don Shelton Boulevard. When investigators searched the home where Haslett Jr. lived, they say they found a room in the basement consistent with what the woman had described. Yesterday, crews boarded it up and put a fence around the home. Neighbors previously said they are concerned about the possibility of other victims.